Boys and girls, welcome back to the Fantasy Council. I know why you're here. You know why you're here. We all know why you're here. It's for that top-notch fantasy football content, and of course, we bring it to you like we always do. Today, we're going to be doing an interesting little spiel that we haven't done yet. We're going to be breaking down some redraft trades that were sent to us by some buddies, and kind of seeing where we stand on player values and if these guys are taking advantage of these, sell high windows, buy low windows, etc. Here with my co-hosts today, Miles and Chris. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Excellent.
It's the birthday, so I'm always doing great.
Happy birthday, Chris. Drop those happy birthday comments down below. Big day.
All right. That intro is complete, so I will bring you guys, without further ado, to the first trade. We got the Morning Woodheads here. Chris, I believe you know the format of this league, if you don't mind filling us in real quick.
Yeah, I think this is a 12-team, 2-flex PPR league.
12-team, 2-flex PPR. No special scoring or anything like that.
It is a 6-point passing touchdown, I'm pretty sure this user said, but there's no quarterbacks involved, so it doesn't really apply too much here.
All right, so basically what we're looking at here is the Morning Woodheads are acquiring Roschon Johnson, Justin Jefferson, who just went on IR, missing at least 4 weeks, Chris Olave and Rachaad White. And to acquire those players, he's losing Chris Godwin, Tyjae Spears, who just had a nice little week, the rookie running back for the Tennessee Titans. He loses Tyler Algier and Puka Nacua, the rookie phenom. So what are we thinking on that trade, boys?
Just to start off real quick, I know Jettas is on IR for 4 weeks. He also has a bye week 10, so he's actually at 5 weeks total, which could be good for him recovering, but just in general, as a manager, you should know that. I'm taking the Morning Woodhead side all day long here. Jettas, when he's back, obviously, wide receiver one of those great guys. If you can sustain your level of play and make the playoffs, obviously this is a massive W. Chris Olave, 2 down weeks in a row. Weird game last week. They were up 30 points in the Pats. They didn't pass too much. I'm like Rachaad White, volume's crazy. It's ridiculous. And I'd take him over Tyjae or Tyler. And I'd also take Roschon over both running backs as well, with that Khalil Herbert ankle injury, probably 4 weeks out as well. I love Puka. He showed what he can do with Kupp, but I think I'm definitely taking the Morning Woodhead side here on this trade for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Morning Woodhead side is definitely winning this deal. I like the idea of trading for Justin Jefferson as long as your team is able to sustain itself, those 5 weeks. And it could be more. I mean, there's a lot of talk of, potentially shutting him down. I don't think that's going to happen, but there is a more realistic chance that they trade Kirk Cousins than I think shutting down Justin Jefferson, which if he did lose Kirk Cousins, that would definitely be tough. But I think Justin Jefferson, for the most part, is a matchup-proof kind of guy, or a quarterback-proof kind of guy, and matchup-proof. But even if you, it's funny because even if you take Justin Jefferson out of this deal, say he doesn't play, like I still don't hate it. It's not like you're losing egregiously. I mean, I'm probably take Puka slightly over Olave, even though Olave has more upside, I think, from a week-to-week basis maybe with Kupp coming back. Tyjae flashed some of his ability, but I don't think they're not going to phase Derrick Henry out of the offense. Like, you're going to need a Derrick Henry injury for Tyjae to be truly startable for week to week. I like Godwin, but yeah, I think overall the Morning Woodhead side I would take pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I am taking the Morning Woodhead side. I think you guys made some points that I disagree with. I would take Tyjae Spears over both Roschon Johnson. I wouldn't take him over Rachaad White, obviously. I would take Tyjae Spears over Roschon Johnson, though. He's getting like 50% of the snaps in that offense and all the receiving work. He got a touchdown last week, which obviously helped, but I think the usage is pretty encouraging for Tyjae Spears, more so than Roschon, to be honest, who's kind of in a much more of a committee with Khalil Herbert. And, I mean, Ryan Tannehill's not running the ball. Justin Fields is going to be running the ball, so that's even more carries that he's not going to be able to get. Obviously, if you're 1-4 and 2 or 2-3, acquiring Justin Jefferson right now is probably not your best move. I'm assuming this team is not 1-4 or 2-3. Chris Olave and Puka, I mean, it's pretty close also. I think I slightly lean Puka, but it's by the thinnest of margins. Overall, though, definitely Morning Woodheads, I think, win this trade. As long as Justin Jefferson is back for even the fantasy playoffs, assuming that the Morning Woodheads make the playoffs. But yeah, I think the Morning Woodheads win pretty convincingly here. Puka's obviously the big player on the other side of the deal, but I mean, when Justin Jefferson comes back, you're getting the wide receiver 1 in fantasy, or wide receiver 2, in my opinion, behind Tyreek.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take the Morning Woodheads here as well. But let's move on here. We got Team Gout. It's one of our buddies. He acquired Devonta Smith, Jerome Ford, and James Cook. And he lost, Zach Moss and Amon-Ra St. Brown to Team Rub and Tug. So, if you guys want to go ahead and give some opinions on that one, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so these are 2 separate trades, right? We got 2. Which one are we talking about first?
I'm talking about the Devonta
Smith, Jerome Ford, and James Cook, and he traded Zach Moss and Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I'll start us off. It's an interesting one. Me and Rob were discussing this on the phone earlier, but we love Jerome Ford's playoff schedule, which is important to take in consideration here. James Cook coming off some weird games, had like 5.1 last week. And the week before, he did kind of save his touchdown, but he only had like 29 yards on like a lot of carries. It was a weird game. So he's weird with the usage. I still am somewhat high on James Cook. Devonta Smith's going to have huge weeks. He's going to have okay weeks, just kind of how the Eagles flow. Amon-Ra's banged up right now. Zach Moss is going to be a backup even after his huge week. I think I'm pretty comfortably going to take the Team GOAT side. Did we say the settings on this trade? Does anyone know?
I think it's a 12-team single flex.
It is
a
PPR. 1 flex PPR, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like the 1 flex does make me want to look at getting the better player in Amon-Ra here. I still think it's essentially like a 3-for-1 trade in this deal. Essentially, 12-team single flex. It really depends on the depth you have, but with Amon-Ra being banged up, I'm going to take this Devonta Smith Team GOAT side.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually closer than we initially thought once we mentioned that single flex part, because it's definitely an important thing to note. I don't hate this for Team Rub and Tug as long as they have I'm assuming they have great RV depth, giving up Jerome Ford and James Cook, and I'm assuming the other team needs some running backs, acquiring Jerome Ford and James Cook. I still like Devonta Smith. I don't think Amon-Ra is obviously a tier above Devonta. He's just going to be more consistent, and he has the same upside. But I do love Devonta Smith. That's a great wide receiver 2 to have, and a great flex if you were lucky enough to play him there. Yeah, overall I like it. I think Jerome Ford's a great buy low. I think Rob would agree, Chris would agree. But I think you could even get Jerome Ford cheaper after this next week because he's got the Niners coming up. So that's something to take into consideration.
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you guys mostly covered it all. I mean, it's a wide receiver upgrade at the end of the day in a 1 flex league. So, I mean, Amon-Ra is consistently inside my top 5 wide receivers on a weekly basis. Devonta Smith probably just slightly outside the top 10 or 12. But, you know, to upgrade or downgrade, rather, to Devonta Smith while acquiring Jerome Ford and James Cook, who could be 2 RB2s or high-end RB2s, mid RB2s for the rest of the way, I think is pretty much more than fair, honestly, for that downgrade. I mean, Jerome Ford and James Cook are both more than startable. I mean, if you need a running back in a pinch, you have no problem throwing them in. Even in a flex, even as a flex play in a 1 flex league, I mean, they're not going to kill you. So, I mean, but the way running backs are getting hurt these days, I think I'll also take Team GOAT in this one, even though it is closer than it initially looked to me. I agree.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I will say too, like, adding those extra pieces, it's not as important to have a ton of depth in those 1 flex leagues or less team leagues. But I mean, it gives it that team potential to make even more moves and do stuff with that.
Right.
With that being said, let's move on. Back to Team GOAT, actually, set in 2. He was trading with Shane Touch's guys here. This is also a 12-team single flex. It's the same league, I think, right?
It looks like, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So Team GOAT is acquiring Evan Ingram, Mike Evans, and Roschon Johnson. And they are losing James Cook and Amari DiMercato.
So it looks like he already flipped that James Cook there.
Yeah, he went right for it.
I think this is an obvious win by Team GOAT. I don't think it's very close at all, to be honest. I don't know what Mr. Touches Guys was thinking over there, but Amari DiMercato, I mean, he's like shouldn't even be involved in a trade. Like if you're trading for Amari DiMercato, I mean, I don't know, maybe you drafted like 3 running backs who are already out for the season or something. I don't really know what you're doing.
16 team league or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a borderline, like barely even rosterable player.
Could have a good week this week, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Keontae Ingram is actually listed as the RB1.
He's back, right?
I saw that, yeah.
Heard he's back, yes.
But, you know, especially in this 12-team 1 flex league, I like having a strong tight end, and Evan Ingram has actually looked pretty solid. I have no problem starting Evan Ingram as my tight end every week. Obviously, there are better options, but, yeah, once you get out of that top tier of tight ends, I think Evan Ingram's kind of like at the top of that like mid tier of tight ends because he's pretty consistent. He's producing in a good offense. Trevor Lawrence likes looking at him. He gets a lot of targets. So I do like Evan Ingram. Mike Evans is actually kind of a sell high for me, but like at this price, like you're just buying low on a guy who should be a sell high. So in this trade, the way it looks. So I mean, if you're acquiring Mike Evans for like James Cook, I mean, it's James Cook really for Mike Evans, Evan Ingram, and Roschon Johnson, which is like it's not even close.
Mike Evans
Mike Evans is over James Cook by himself, and then you get Evan Ingram and Roschon on top of it. I think it's a pretty obvious one for Team GOAT.
Maybe potential injury scare or something from the Shane Touches guys because maybe lost Evans for a week or something.
Yeah, but. I mean maybe they need to get to the bottom of this. This could be collusion.
I do think Roschon offers sneaky value too. Rob, you were saying you take Tajay before.
No, I agree he does. I wouldn't say he's like droppable or anything, but I think I'd take Tajay Spears over.
Well, I mean, Khalil Herbert's announced out right now for a few weeks. I mean, Roschon could take over. He's already their third down back guy. He's great in pass protection. He could have a few week stretch where he can increase his value. Like we said, Evan Ingram, tight end 7. Not
was
top
it
tier
announced
guy,
that Herbert is out for multiple weeks? Because I saw he was just listed as doubtful for this next week.
I think I read 2 to 3 weeks. It's predicted absence. Yeah. So Evan Ingram, tight end 7, not top tier guy, but he's given you. I think he's had like one game under 10 points. Last week he had like 6.8. Week 1 he had like 9.8. So like he's other than that he's above 10. So he's always like that consistent. He's not ever really kind of giving you those 0 weeks. He's never killing you. So you love that.
This was his first week below 10 points actually last week.
I think he had 9.8 earlier one, but that's just my brain.
And I think he also has like 8 targets like every single week too, which
crazy floor. Yeah, you love that as your tight end for sure. All right, let's move on. All right, this next one we got. Let's see formats. 12-team PPR 1 flex, right? It's Saquon D's nuts. They are gaining Mike Evans and Adam Thielen. And they are losing Derrick Henry and Marquise Brown. Miles, what you think?
See, at first glance, I want to take the Derrick Henry side. It really depends on what your running back situation is like. I'm assuming Saquon D's nuts has insane running back depth to give away Derrick Henry, even though we have talked about selling Derrick Henry if you can. I still think Derrick Henry is a very valuable running back. I mean, I like Mike Evans, though, and Adam Thielen has been seeing insane volume. I think I kind of like the Derrick Henry Hollywood side, I'm not going to lie. As far as having a running back like Derrick Henry, and also just I feel like Adam Thielen, he's an older guy, he's 33. I don't know if he can keep this pace the whole year. I mean, he's been phenomenal up to this point. Like, if we're looking at production right now, okay, I'll take the Mike Evans, Adam Thielen side, but I can see this trade playing out to where Team Weber will actually win this deal in the end, especially if Hollywood gets a healthy Kyler, which boosts him up even more because I think Hollywood's already been very good with Dobbs under center. So, yeah, I guess it comes down to team need. I mean, if Saquon D's nuts is really just set at running back, I don't mind it. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I got to say about that.
I actually have to disagree here. I think I'm going to take this Saquon D's nuts side, to be honest. I actually they're both older wide receivers who are just producing right now, but as much as we love the young guys, dude, like these guys are just producing. Like Adam Thielen is a target hog right now.
Yeah,
like until the Panthers acquire another weapon, Adam Thielen looks like a set it and forget it wide receiver 2 every week. I mean, you can't deny the production. You just can't. Like, he's producing like a stud right now. He's a wide receiver.
He has been insane.
Mike Evans has also had a couple massive weeks. I just said it before. I think Mike Evans is a sell high type of guy, but I don't mind the price. Like Derrick Henry, I don't mind getting out on right now. Marquise Brown, I do like. He hasn't had like any like boom weeks yet. He's got that big play potential, but he hasn't really had any like big touchdowns or anything yet. Which we'll see if it comes around in that way. But yeah, I think just you're acquiring 2 guys who've been putting up wide receiver 1 numbers through 5 weeks. I think I'd take Saquon D's nuts aside pretty easily here, to be honest with you. I don't think Derrick Henry's really, pushing the needle for it. He's not such an untouchable player like he was in the past. Yeah, the name value's still there, but like if this was just a guy with another name, with all these advanced analytics and a snap count going down, like I think we'd be talking more like, yeah, we need to get this guy off a roster. I mean, his name is still Derrick Henry, so that's why he has trade value like he does, but yeah, I think I'm going to stick with my gut here and go Mike Evans and Adam Thielen. I'll take that side.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you, Rob. Adam Thielen's, I think, wide receiver 10. He's averaging 19.6 a game. I mean, we'll see if they happen to go get Judy or whatever, but he looks like their guy. Evans should be healthy next week, coming off that bye week. They're both wide receiver 1s in points per game. So, I think I'm going to lean that side. I mean, you could also just sell them. Like, if I'm going to take that side and then try to sell probably both of those guys for even more value or even combine them for an elite piece. That's just kind of how I think. But if we're looking just at the straight up value of a trade, like I do like Derrick Henry's schedule coming up. He's kind of had some tougher games, and the Titans game script might be weird in general just because they're not as good as they once were. And Marquise has been consistent. He's been great. Even if he keeps Dobbs and Kyler's out for an extended period of time, I still like Marquise's value. It's closer than I think that meets the eye, but I am going to take the 2 receivers in this deal.
All right. With all that, got our next one here coming in from yawning emoji. So he acquired Jerome Ford and Jahmyr Gibbs and Darren Waller. And he lost Jordan Addison, Tua, Zach Charbonnet, and Dalton Schultz.
What are these league settings, Rob?
Oh, so I'm sorry. This is a 10-man, 2-flex PPR.
Okay, 10-man changes the game. See, we'll tell you guys as viewers right now, the less the teams, the more important like positions like tight end and quarterback are, just because there's way more abundance, and like the elite ones, they're really valuable because the difference is so much more, if that makes sense. So in this case, like Darren Waller, probably a tight end 6-ish range, 7 range in that Ingram tier. So pretty valuable piece, I'd say, in this kind of format. And with that being said, I'm assuming this was made after the Jettas injury with Addison's value. I'm going to take the Jerome Ford, Gibbs, and Waller side. Like we said, we love Jerome Ford's playoff schedule, his involvement. Gibbs at this point, like we love Gibbs, love the talent. Dan Campbell just came out and said like that Montgomery's our guy and that Gibbs is like their change of pace guy. So you don't love to see that, but we're betting on the talent, the capital. Hopefully at some point it comes. He's definitely worth a bench stash, like for sure. I mean, Charbonnet to me is droppable, fringe, nothing. He's just like a handcuff piece. Schultz had a good week. We love that Texans offense, but like to me, Waller, I'm taking over him by a decent amount. So yeah, I'm taking that top side, the yawning emoji.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely take that. I don't think you're giving up much of anything for the yawning side. I mean, Addison, sure, he could be good with Justin Jefferson gone, but I don't know if it's enough for me to give up a couple running backs like Jerome Ford we like, and then Jahmyr, who obviously they came out and said Monty's the lead workhorse back, but I mean, how do you keep a talented guy like Jahmyr not like uninvolved in the offense? I think I still think Jahmyr will get more work, and he's going to have some explosive plays. He hasn't had any of those big plays yet that he was really known for in college. Obviously, Waller's a huge upgrade over Dalton Schultz. Charbonnet, like you said, not much. I mean, Tua in a 10-man was probably like a guy you could have gotten off of waivers. I think in one of my 10-men, Tua was either undrafted or drafted as the second quarterback, so I'm assuming this team also has a better quarterback. So, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to agree there. I feel like all the more valuable pieces kind of went towards one side, being Jahmyr, Jerome Ford, and Waller. Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, honest question, like, would you guys consider Jahmyr Gibbs like a handcuff at this point?
A handcuff with upside, almost like an old
yeah,
Tony,
definitely
like
upside, but does
like
he
Tony
fall
Pollard.
into that handcuff category, you think?
You can consider him there. I mean, obviously, like we saw that injury though to Mondi for a week, and like he did get significant more carries, but he didn't have any breakout game. So it's interesting because the Lions always use two running backs a decent amount. I compare it to like the Tony Pollard Zeke kind of situation, like when Tony Pollard like early on-ish, like when Zeke was really getting most of the work. Tony Pollard come in there, be explosive, catch passes, etc. I mean, I would have taken Tony Pollard then over how Gibbs is now, but that's a good comparison, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting question. Yeah, I don't really view him as a backup per se. Like Chris said, he has more upside than a traditional backup. Right. I kind of view him almost like he almost has his own role in that offense, apart from Montgomery. But it is discouraging. Montgomery's looked solid. It is discouraging for people that draft Jahmyr. Yeah, Montgomery's looked great. They're not going to shy away from him. You know, the coach came out and said they like him in his role, and it's definitely tough. I don't think an injury to Monty necessarily improves Jahmyr Gibbs that significantly. It does.
Yeah, I would think it does too.
It's not like last year when like Madison, when Cook got hurt, or past years, then Madison's like a top 10 guy. It's not
exactly,
like that.
Yeah, because he's just not the same player as Monty. We saw them try to run when Monty was hurt. They tried to run Gibbs like straight up the gut, and it just didn't work. He'd fall forward for a yard or two, and then he's a different type of player. I hope they figure out how to use him in the most effective way. But until then, I don't know. He's not someone you can really start, but he's definitely roster like needs.
Oh yeah. You're not dropping Gibbs.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Addison at all. I'm a fan of Addison, coming off a big week. He's playing great. I think he's got 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns through 5. I think 3 through 5. Jetta's injury should definitely help him. I mean, he's going to play way more snaps and probably not just in the slot now. I mean, we didn't mention that. Is he the most valuable piece in this deal? I don't know.
Possibly. It depends how these next couple weeks go, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly yet to be seen. It really depends. Is he going to step up with Jefferson out? If he does, then yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's close, but I think we're all taking the yawning emoji. All right, next trade we're hopping in here. It's with Monkey Gods and Johnson. Monkey Gods is acquiring A.J. Dillon of the Packers, Mark Andrews, and CeeDee Lamb. And they are losing Kyren Williams, DJ Moore, and Aaron Jones. Rob, what you think?
Based on first glance, I think I like Monkey God's side a little more. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, it's kind of just breaking it down like this. I like CeeDee Lamb over DJ Moore. And then Aaron Jones and Kyren Williams for Mark Andrews. It's pretty fair.
This is a 10-man, right? 10-man.
Yeah, I think it's 10-man single flex.
10-man single flex. Yeah, I would take Andrews over. I would take Andrews over Jones and Kyren Williams packaged, I think.
Sure.
And then I like CeeDee more than DJ Moore for the rest of the season. We brought DJ Moore as a sell high last week, and then unfortunately, right after that, he absolutely went nuclear for 50 fantasy points. However, my opinion, I can't speak for them, but my opinion has not changed. I also still think DJ Moore is a sell high, almost even more so at this point.
Sell higher.
Yeah, you could sell even higher now. I mean, that's great. Just take that 50-point week and just, come on, like, just get an elite player with it. That's, CeeDee Lamb's a pretty good example, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's a pretty good example. He's a top 12 wide receiver in fantasy in most eyes. And, Kyren Williams looked nice. Aaron Jones, though, he's been a little banged up this year. Packers offense hasn't looked phenomenal so far. They haven't looked great. I mean, Aaron Jones might be starting to get towards that, that age where, an injury that wouldn't affect some younger guys is kind of keep him sidelined for a little longer. But, overall, especially with Mark Andrews in a 10-man, 1 flex league, and, you're not losing anything crazy. I think I'll take the Monkey God side of this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in a that onesie position, which is the quarterback and tight end, especially in those 10-man and single flex, makes the elite tight ends way more valuable, the elite quarterbacks more valuable. And DJ Moore was my sell high last week. It was 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 weeks ago?
No, it was last week.
It was last week. It just feels long.
It's right before the big game
because it was like a Thursday night game, right? So
Yep.
It feels way further away. But yeah, he was a sell high. Obviously, the 49 points. You know, what are you gonna do? I actually benched him in one league that I had him. I wasn't able to sell him, and then just to rub it in, he dropped 49 on my bench. But yeah, like Chris said, sell higher at this point. Now you're seeing you can get a guy like CeeDee Lamb in this deal. I think you got to smash that. I mean, CeeDee's too good to continue on. I mean, he's been disappointing so far for where you drafted him. You know, you don't want to sugarcoat it. The Dallas offense has been a little weird, but I think they'll figure it out. CeeDee's too talented to not turn it around. Yeah, AJ Dillon's kind of irrelevant in this deal, but yeah. What do you think, Chris?
I do think this is like a beautifully constructed trade for Monkey Gods. This is something kind of a way I would go about it. I mean, Mark Andrews in this kind of format is a huge piece. Like that is a tier and a half jump because it's literally just him, Hawk, and Kelsey that are just gonna win you weeks in this kind of league.
Whoa! Don't forget about Sam Laporta, man.
He's in his own little mid tier, but yes, we love Sam Laporta. CeeDee Lamb though, like we've said. Sorry if you guys didn't hear that train, but disappointing. CeeDee Lamb has had only one game above 4 catches all year. Every other game he's had 4. I think one game he had like 11. But it's CeeDee Lamb. You bet on the talent. He's an elite guy. And just like the way you kind of construct this trade is like Aaron Jones going through injuries, whatever. AJ Dillon, you sneak in there to make it even, but like you're getting the best deal, play on the deal on Mark Andrews, I think, overall value, or potentially CeeDee on the same side. You're selling super high on DJ, and like Kyron's great. We love Kyron, but in a 10-minute, you can go get running backs pretty easily. This is an everyday win for Monkey Gods, for sure. Yeah. Jumping to the next one, it's our good buddy Eric Christie. Appreciate you, Eric, sending us your trades. We always got you, man. We know you're learning the game more. So Eric is getting James Cook and Roschon Johnson, who we've talked about a lot actually in this video.
Yeah, it's been a lot of Roschon trades.
And he has been sending Isaiah Pacheco and Courtland Sutton. What do you guys think from Eric's perspective?
I'll start off here. I think right out of the gate, I prefer the Pacheco Sutton side. I mean, Pacheco, as we've seen him ramp up, get more and more work every week, and he was a guy none of us really liked, I'm sure. I'm not. A lot of the sharp fantasy players didn't like Pacheco at all coming into this year, but he's carried on where he left off in the playoffs. He's looked good. He runs hard, and he has that touchdown upside in an elite offense. It's close with him and James Cook. I like James Cook too, but I think I would at this point take Pacheco slightly above James Cook, and then Sutton I would take over Roschon. I think Sutton. That Broncos offense has been disappointing, but now the rumor mill, Judy potentially getting traded, maybe more targets for Sutton. Sutton had a couple good weeks. I think he's much more flexible, like playable in your flex than Roschon Johnson at this point, and would help your roster more. So I would take the Pacheco Sutton side.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Pacheco has been such a surprise to me this season. He's getting a lot of work in one of the best offenses in the league. I mean, he's scoring touchdowns. He's runs so aggressively, and he looks pretty good. I mean, we don't really love the whole undrafted free agent running back stigma, very replaceable and all that. But
he was seventh round.
Was he 7th round? I thought he was.
Yeah, 7th round out of Rutgers. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, Rutgers for sure.
Yeah, no, I know he went to Rutgers. I thought he was undrafted though. We'll fact check that after the video. I'm not 100% sure. You could be right.
I'm definitely right. I think.
I'll check it for you guys while you're talking, Rob.
Well, yeah. Well, regardless of where or when he got drafted, he looks pretty good. I like Pacheco over James Cook right now. And then, like Miles said, with Judy looking to be on his way out in Denver, he should have the monster share of the targets in Denver. I also think Marvin Mims could definitely get more involved off that. Just a little side note, but Sutton's been pretty good anyway this year. I mean. So yeah, I think I'll take the Pacheco Sutton side here as well.
Just to sneak in really quick, Pacheco 7th round, 251st overall.
I really thought he was undrafted. I always thought that.
I like you did too, Rob.
I mean, I know like everything about the draft. Anyways, Yeah, I don't think this is close, Eric. We'll work on this. But Pacheco, as we were talking about, like, just big surprise. He's got Denver in 2 of the next 3 weeks. The Chargers in between, which is they've been not too great against the run either. He's probably going to explode. His value is going to shoot up at least these next 3 weeks. And even the rest of the year, I'm seeing a ton of green on these matchups. Playoff schedule looks spicy. Chiefs offense. I think you could argue Pacheco alone in this deal. I think I would take over James Cook and Roschon Johnson, which I would never have thought to start the year. But, like, he's getting fed. He looks amazing. Sutton's going to have that target share with Judy likely being gone. And Sutton also kind of has his own trade value. Like, he's had those good solid weeks to a casual. He looks like he's been okay. So if he can string together a few good weeks, he can build his own value up, and you can move him for a good piece as well. So I'm 100% taking that side.
Definitely.
There.
Get into this Puka one. You can say, Rob.
Yeah, moving on here. We got a trade between Gavin22 and Bobsky here. This one looks pretty tough. I'm just looking at it right now. 2 wide receivers. But anyway, we got Puka Nacua and Hollywood Brown on one side, Calvin Ridley and DJ Moore on the other side. Wow, this one is very close, I would say.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Do any of you guys have your minds made up on this trade?
We were talking about this one before we started the video because we've just been debating this. I think I do have a side I prefer, but that kind of includes me further selling like DJ Moore, for example. Right. But like if we're taking just like if the rest of the season that's different, what do you guys think? Do you want to have a definitive answer, you think?
I think it's hard to be definitive. I think you could go either way and win this trade pretty easily. But I think it depends on your roster. I think based on perceived value, I would take the Ridley and DJ Moore side, potentially flip DJ Moore. Like I think you were about to mention Chris. And then even then, if you don't flip him, I think the Ridley DJ Moore side maybe has slightly more overall upside than the Puka and Hollywood side. I think Ridley has more upside, even though he's been disappointing. He had that one big first week. His targets have been underwhelming, but he is more upside, I think. I don't know, it's hard to say. Puka's been so good, but if you compare him with Puka, I think Ridley has a higher weekly upside with Trevor Lawrence than Puka with now Cup. Yeah. And then DJ Moore, I think, has more upside than Hollywood moving forward. So if you're going off upside, like in such I think I would take Ridley and Moore, and then also, like you mentioned, the potential to sell DJ Moore for more.
Yeah, I mean, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore are definitely, I guess, the sexier names in the trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
You said they have more upside, which I do agree with. But I think the Puka Marquise side actually has a higher floor.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, in fantasy, though, we are shooting for the upside, obviously, though. So, I mean, gun to my head, have to pick one. I guess I would also go with Ridley and DJ Moore, but, like, hey, if anyone wanted to take that Puka and Hollywood side, I would not have much of a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong here. I think a lot of this could have to do with, like, your team around you. Like, if you have a lot of kind of, like, upside, great teams around you, you could go with those steady pieces in Puka and Marquise, who've been great, consistent. If you need that upside, which is usually what most teams are chasing, I am very high on Calvin Ridley still. Like, yes, he's had some down weeks, some interesting matchups. I just think it's going to get better. I think he looked great in week 5. He finally was getting fed again. And DJ Moore, like, I would take that side and then flip DJ Moore, and then boom, that's what I would do for sure. All right, let's get into our next one. Back to our boy Eric. I actually think he's doing pretty good here. Eric's receiving CeeDee Lamb, who we're talking about again here, and he's sending Gabe Davis and Michael Thomas. What you guys think?
I just don't see how this goes through if you're Shane Walsh here. I mean, that's a tough look. I know Gabe Davis has been on a tear. How many consecutive touchdowns now? 4?
Dude, he's like wide receiver, 14 right now?
Yeah, he's been very good.
Looks better on paper.
We know CD. We know he's an alpha. We talked about him earlier. And then Gabe Davis, Michael Thomas, that should never get you CD. Michael Thomas has been very steady. I think he's averaging about 10
on the dot,
points
maybe right
per
around
game. Yeah. He's fine as a flex. He just doesn't have the upside at this point in his career at all. Like I think his highest point total is like 11 or 12.
Yeah,
and
he's literally
and his lowest is also like 9. So like it's like so weird. If you want to guarantee 10 points, put him into your lineup. But yeah, this should never be happening. Obviously, I'm gonna take the CD side here.
Yeah, I mean it's a 12-man 2 flex league, so obviously maybe depth is important for Shane, but at this cost, it's just not worth it. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's a guy that you drafted in the first round possibly, and at the very least in the early second round. And Gabe Davis, while he's looked good, I mean he's catching touchdowns at an absurd clip right now. Michael Thomas is very old. I mean he's kind of producing as like a flex player, but like wide receiver 3-ish. But like CeeDee Lamb, I mean CeeDee Lamb, like it's not close at all. I'm trying to think of a way to maybe like justify this for the other side, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean it's not close for me either. I think Eric did a great job here, just selling high on Gabe Davis and getting that elite upside, elite piece in CD. So yeah, it's not close for us. Yeah. Definitely taking Eric's side.
Yeah, good job.
It is a good time to buy low on CD. I mean, he has been disappointing so far. So.
Hey man, if you got Gabe Davis and Michael Thomas, I guess send a feeler out. That's CD.
Yeah, might as well send some feelers out. If you do have Gabe Davis, I think you definitely gotta be selling him for a deal like this. If you can get this done, huge W. It's great for you, and even something close to this is great. Maybe look at guys like Tony Pollard's, guys in that range, Chris Olave, etc. All right, last trade we got is Tenzar. He's receiving Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson, and he is sending Josh Allen. What do you guys think?
I see we got a 12-man 2 flex PPR here.
Yes, sir. Good to mention.
So the quarterback position a little bit less important in this format as opposed to a 1 flex league or 10-man league or anything like that. But I think I would take. Actually, I really don't know. I was gonna say Josh Allen, but like Garrett Wilson, offense got worse, Aaron Rodgers injury, all that. We already know all that, but he's still startable. Oh,
for sure. I like Garrett Wilson. I think he's underrated in redraft.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you, Rob. At first glance, I was like, it's pretty easily Josh Allen for me. But then you mentioned the 12-team double flex, so it becomes a little more close, especially if you need, it's hard in those double flex leagues, 12 teams. Sometimes you find yourself starting some pretty weird guys in that second flex spot, especially with the injuries as the year goes on. So if Garrett Wilson is a guy you can plug into your flex, I'd be pretty happy with that. He still is the talent. But say you're a locked and loaded. You got your lineup. You're a very solid contender. You have no holes. I'm taking Josh Allen for his upside and stability, and his consistency is just far outweighs Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, if you do have Justin Fields on your team, looking to do a move like this, I like upgrading to Josh Allen. I think Garrett Wilson on top might be a little bit too much. I mean, if this was a 10-man 1 flex, 12-man 1 flex, I think I would take Josh Allen. Just the double flex aspect of it makes it so much closer and kind of tips the scale in the Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields side. So in this format, I guess if I had to take a final answer, I would take Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson. Justin Fields, he's a sell high for us and all that, but he's still a running quarterback. He's got a floor, and especially as a passer, 2 pretty bad defenses he played, but he's 8 touchdowns. He has 8 passing touchdowns in the last 2 games. He has a floor here. I mean, he's gonna finish as a QB1, I think. So
I agree.
I mean, if you could hold on to Garrett Wilson at the cost of not trading to Josh Allen, so in this exact case scenario, I think I'd take Fields and Garrett Wilson.
I think all this has to deal with kind of your surrounding squads. It's very tough to judge this one without seeing kind of both teams. Obviously, if you have some sort of good depth, you're taking the Josh Allen side. It's QB3 right now. He's kind of have massive weeks. He just looks so good after that weird first week. But yeah, Justin Fields just string together the last 2 weeks of just great, insane games. What do you have, I don't know. Did he have like 40 last week? I think.
No,
I
he
think
had
37.
37.
30.
Okay.
Oh, last week? 33.
Yeah.
Then I think the week before 37 about.
Okay. Gotcha. Jeez, I was overshooting a little, but
I think it was 28 and 33. I can check right now.
I know I'm in a 6-point passing league.
Oh
so
yeah,
that
sorry. Yeah,
it can
I'm
mess
way-
me up with my memory of scoring there. But yeah, Garrett Wilson to me, I think he's a wide receiver 2 rest of the year. He'll have some wide receiver 1 weeks. He'll have some wide receiver 3 weeks. You know, like Zach Wilson does look he's getting more comfortable. Garrett Wilson's a top 5 talent in my opinion. I love his talent. He's gonna get fed. So yeah, I think it really just depends on your roster size. I mean, your roster kind of depth and everything. I'm gonna lean the field side and hope he keeps balling. Like we drafted him as that 5th, 6th QB off the board and add Garrett Wilson as a piece. I think I'm gonna take that side for now. But if you have a lot of depth, if you're kind of chilling on that department, Josh Allen by miles. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's very situational.
Very situational.
It's actually pretty interesting. This is the first time I'm looking at this. I actually just got offered a trade in one of my leagues. I have not even looked at this yet. So
Hit us with it. Why not? On the fly.
you guys want to tell me what it is? So I would be trading Chris Olave, Javonte Williams, and Justin Fields. And I would be receiving Russell Wilson, Samaje Perine, Miles Sanders, and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, that answer's
I think that's pretty.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be closer, but yeah, no, I think we'll just have to decline.
It was very like gross until I heard Waddle and I like peeked up a little bit. Oh, Waddle at the end there. But
I was waiting for that last name too. I was like, geez, you're 10 some terrible things.
Yeah. No. So I think we'll hit the decline button on that. I was really hoping it would be a little closer, but not to be.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, those are some trades for you. I think we covered a lot of things kind of about like league format and how that affects the guys you should be targeting and like how you want to fill out your lineup. Like obviously smaller formats, less people, less flex spots, whatever. Those onesies are more important, like the QBs and tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get in those 12-man double flex leagues and anything bigger than that, really, those wide receivers and the flex spots are huge. Like just going down, like depth is very important. In those bigger formats. And then obviously if you're playing a super flex league, like quarterbacks are extremely important. Yeah. So with all that being said, I think we're going to sign out here, cover some trades for you. Hope you guys learned something. Peace out.
Peace.